Hello, welcome to the Impact Real Estate Podcast. We have with us today Miss Evelyn Lightman. She is one of the ISA team members, one of the top ISA team members. In fact, she achieved something earlier this year. I guess last year she achieved it, and she was able to, reap the rewards for that this year, and that is going to on the president's trip. Can you explain what the president's trip is and how you're able to, like what you had to do in order to achieve that?
Absolutely. Well, first I gotta give you a hard time because last name's Lickman, so we got you. But
This is literally, I call you Evelyn Lightman
don't worry,
for
everybody
as
calls me
long
all
as I,
sorts of
I know.
things, so it's
So
okay.
Lickman.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, but
All
that's
right.
I got you.
Yeah. Got it
Um,
now.
so yeah, actually, I got to go to Punta Cana
Ooh,
as my first time in the Dominican Republic. But after a few stressful ending of the year moments, but I had 60 closings where I was, a part of 60 closings for the company for 2025.
awesome.
Mhm.
And those are the parameters for to qualify for an ISA to qualify for the
Y
president's trip.
Yeah, in order for us to, earn President's Club, then we have to have at least 60.
Mhm.
I actually went into December with, like, 64, and
Mhm.
just little things happen, and, but December 31st, we closed number 60,
Awesome.
and, it was a very exciting thing, yeah.
I remember that we were all on tiptoe anticipation, biting
Yeah,
our fingernails, like, is
yeah,
the last deal going to come through? This is going to be the
yeah,
first time ever that an ISA makes it to the president's trip. So it was, we were very proud of you and very
yeah.
exciting to kind of watch that, happen. It's kind of like the Roger Bannister, breaking the 4 minute mile. Now we're expecting all of the ISAs to do that.
Yeah,
So again, congratulations and,
thank
and
you.
awesome job with that. That was very, very proud, very proud.
Thank you.
Awesome to watch it
Yeah,
unfold in
yeah,
the
hope
way
I can
that
do
it
it
did.
again.
Yes, absolutely. So, for the crowd, can you please, um, tell them what an ISA is? Like, what is an
Yeah,
ISA? What's your role?
yeah.
And we'll start there.
Absolutely. So I think I probably do this every day. Because one of the parts is obviously explaining to a potential client, to a lead, like who I am and how this all kind of works out. And so an ISA, our official title here at Keaton and Company is a client care manager. And I love to say that's just a really fancy title for an agent who works from the office. So I am a licensed real estate agent. We all are. And we really work closely, but kind of from behind the scenes, like back office support. But, we do work with our leads from the moment that, we get them and all the way through to the closing table.
Mhm.
Just from the backside, but checking in and being a part of it, so it's kinda cool.
Awesome. It is. It is. So, walk me through yesterday from the mindset of like an agent who is relatively new to this, or maybe an agent that, you know, has seen it but not seen it work at its best,
Mhm.
most full capacity. Walk us through yesterday. What did your morning look like
Yeah.
before any agent even knew you existed
Yeah.
for the day?
Yeah, we get in here, we start our shift at 8, and immediately when we come in, there's been leads registering on our website overnight. So first thing we're gonna do is come in and make sure that they get prompt attention. We're gonna reach out, call them, introduce ourselves. And we do this for the first 10 days, pretty intensely, just to kind of like, hey, you were interested and whether it was just for midnight scrolling, but something made you go register. So, and we do that, to really kind of catch somebody kind of when they're in the moment.
Mhm.
And then once we do connect with somebody, then, we're starting to build rapport. We're finding out, why they want to move, if they want to move, when they want to move, where they want to move, all of those things. One of my favorite things is working with brand new home buyers. Like,
Mm.
I think, I came from education. We have that in common, and so I've actually learned I really like teaching people about how they can achieve something too. And so it may even be me doing a lot of nurturing. I have people I've nurtured for over a year.
Wow.
Um, and watching them build their credit so that when they are at that point, I can then connect them with one of my partner agents to be able to, get them out and see a
Mhm.
home. So yeah, so we're going to call, we're checking in. I have people that, I work directly with, whether they're with an agent or not. Again, sometimes it's building.
Right.
And then, we're getting messages and emails and things like that too. So we're
Yeah.
constantly calling, reaching out, connecting, following up, checking with agents. It's just a
Mhm.
busy day. We're on the
Busy day.
phone all day.
For sure. So you mentioned you follow up for 10 days. Is that like so overnight you
Mhm.
guys is what time do your kind of day ends?
Yeah. So our day ends at, we're an 8 to 8.
8 to 8.
Yeah.
So
So we,
after 8 p.m., sometimes people go to one of our various
mhm.
websites,
Yes.
lead magnets, if you
Hmm.
will, and they put in information and they come into our system overnight.
Hmm.
And roughly on any given day, well, let's just, in the sake of the argument or this conversation, yesterday, about how many were in when you came in yesterday, those new
I'd
leads?
say yesterday because we have a newer ISA working on it. But I
Hmm.
want to say about 10. But there's days you come in and there's 20.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially different times of year. We're
Right.
coming off
For
4th
sure.
of
For
July.
sure.
It's a little quieter right
Absolutely.
now, but
Absolutely.
we're still as a team, I think we set probably 10 to 12 appointments yesterday.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
that's 10
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
opportunities of future buyers and
For
sellers.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
And so yeah, like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us, I believe, right now on the team.
Yes. Yeah.
And, our goal is to make at least 2 appointments a day.
Right. Awesome. Awesome.
And most of us, at any given
We'll
time
exceed
during the
that.
week,
Yeah.
we can exceed that,
Awesome. Awesome.
so
Yeah.
we're pushing out a lot of appointments.
A lot of appointments. We'll get
Yeah.
to kind of what some of those numbers look like for sure. Because I know if someone's listening to this, they want to know
Yes.
what those numbers are. So brand new agent, excuse me, brand new lead comes in roughly 20, anywhere
Mhm.
between 10 to 20, sometimes probably even more than that, depending on the
That's just first thing in the morning.
seasonality. And that's just first thing in the morning, right?
Right,
That's
like,
just
that's not even
overnight. That's
people
from
calling.
8 p.m. to 8
Yeah,
a.m. So
yeah.
that's during that time
Oh,
frame. So
yeah.
that's kind of you. So you're starting that off.
Mhm.
So looking at a brand new leads as they're coming in, what is the process for them? Like, what do you do with them?
Yeah, so we're going to reach out every way we can. We're going to call them. We're going to leave messages, text messages, really, kind of analyze what they're doing online.
Hmm.
If someone comes in and they've already hearted houses and they're
For
really
sure.
active, it's like, wow, you kind of know you're calling or starting to offer that information as far as like, here's how I can help you.
Mhm.
And once we can get them on the phone, that's the hardest part is getting them on the
Get
phone.
them on the phone.
But once we get them on the phone, I'd say we're pretty skilled in finding out the information we need, offering our services without being pushy,
Hmm.
um, and kind of helping them see like here's the things we can provide, and now which one do you want to do?
Mm.
Most will opt to meet with us. I'd say at some point, if not
Right.
immediately.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
but part of my job I think is also to really understand why they're wanting to make a move,
Hmm.
so I can
Hmm.
pass that information on to their future agent.
Right.
You know.
So your job is not necessarily to walk them through the showings or go through the buyer's consultation, any of that. You're setting them up to
Hmm.
work with one of our what we call outside agents. So
Yeah,
real
yeah.
estate sales agents, realtors, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and so, for me, no, I'm not out there, showing the home. I'll explain that my partner's gonna take care of you, but not only showing homes, but also negotiating on your behalf, connecting you with resources. My job is to really make sure that their experience with Keaton& and Company is top notch. So we will follow up and make sure it's the right fit, and if it's not the right fit, it doesn't necessarily mean anything against that person. We all just know there's sometimes, people don't mesh well. It's nothing, negative against an agent.
Right.
It might be the person,
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but I'd say that only happens maybe once every blue moon.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And so, like, it's, we're really following up, how's it going? Is there something I could do to help? I always let them know if they need to contact me because they maybe, their agent is out showing another home to somebody, they can reach out, sharing properties, things like that. I don't, even if I just need to be your cheerleader,
Yeah.
they just need to hear you've got this,
Right. Yeah.
um, that's where we come in and, the client care does
But
take,
right.
you
Absolutely.
know? And, as our partner agents aren't always able to be that in tune, I'd say, at that moment with everybody. Obviously, it gets to that point, especially as you get closer to the closing table. But, I think that's where we can fill in the gaps a little bit.
For
And
sure.
and we do present ourselves as a team here
Mhm,
supporting
mhm.
versus just, the one person kind of doing it all by themselves.
Right, right, right.
Mhm.
So for let's say for instance, one of these people, you don't get in touch with them that day.
Mhm.
Maybe 2 or 3 days goes
Mhm.
by, and then you are able to get in touch with
Yeah.
them. What's that conversation like? Do they forget a lot of times that they've filled out a
Sometimes.
form? What is your objective at that point?
Um, Honestly, it's to overcome those objectives.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I think most people in real estate would say that's like the hardest part, but that's what we've been trained on. And so, literally, most will say, "Oh, I'm just looking," and we might come back like, "I like looking too," like,
hmm
So
hmm
we're kind of like trying to break down the barrier,
right.
um, to make real estate not feel so overwhelming or like I can't talk to you until I have money in my hand.
Mm,
You know, um, so we're trying to kind of put them at ease and let them understand like it's never too early to talk to us.
mm,
Now, as far as us handing that person to our partner agent,
right.
we're going to make sure that, we're helping to nurture to the point where we feel like once they are being handed, not saying they're buying today or
Right.
tomorrow, but they are now at the point where they are seriously considering buying a home and they need just like the extra guidance now
Mhm.
to see what that looks like.
Yes. What do you say to the agent who says, I don't want the appointment until they're ready to until they've talked to the lender, they've they're ready to go and see the house right now. Like they
Yeah.
I don't want anyone that's not ready. Like I want them right now. What do you say
Yeah.
to
I
that
have
agent?
to then kind of ask, like, are you in this for a paycheck
Ooh.
or
Oh.
for the person?
Mm. Mm.
Because the paycheck is going to pay you once. If you build a relationship with a person, that can pay out many, many times.
Mm.
You know, I feel like we live in a world where people are used to just being a transaction. But when it comes to doing something like buying a home or selling a home, you want to be more than that. So I personally believe if you're just waiting for that type of appointment, then that's not what we're providing.
Absolutely.
We're providing you with a person who ultimately, by doing the right thing for them, can pay out in dividends, like
Yes.
many, many transactions.
Yes. And honestly, I think if agents are honest about this, even referrals that they get from either family members or
Mhm,
someone that they know or business that they get from, their own, you know,
mhm,
prospecting, a lot of times you'll get someone that says, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this." Like literally, I've had 2, 3 people last month
mhm.
reached out and said, "Hey, we're thinking about either buying or selling in September."
Right.
So it's not uncommon to get someone
Yeah.
ready, but they're not ready right now. You have to
Yeah.
nurture them through the process. And a lot of times folks will get the misinterpretation or the misrepresentation of what the ISA team does. Like, hey, I don't I you guys are supposed to, tee up these
Yeah.
appointments for us to be able as soon as they come to us, I'm going to be writing a
Yeah.
contract in 6 days.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case because that's usually not the case with any people. I
Yeah.
think a lot of times folks are in, again, the 2021, the post COVID mentality of where there was
Mhm.
such an urgency
Right.
to find a property that people had to behave in that manner.
Right.
And it's kind of tainted the way real estate has been for
Yeah.
decades and generations prior to that.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see what, like, the numbers would look like. I am sure there's been plenty of, from
Right.
that time period
Absolutely.
where, they've stayed in touch and they've done future deals, but also when such a quick turnaround happens, how many of those became forever clients?
Mm, mhm,
And
mhm.
there's gonna be times that we hand off an appointment and you know what? They are ready. I just,
Right.
I wanna write a contract on this, and that's the lead's choice if they choose to make this a quick transaction and not carry on a relationship. Obviously, we do our best to do
Yes.
that, but that's on them. But I think as real estate professionals, is our job to support before, during, and after.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that builds long term. That builds longevity in the industry. That also creates, the referral business to
Mhm.
the point where you can continue to do this real estate
Yeah.
without worrying about where my next transaction is going to come
Exactly.
from. So I
Exactly.
definitely agree with that. What does it take to get someone from I'm just looking to actually booked and confirmed?
Well, thank goodness, as ISAs, we love the challenge. It's almost like a game,
Right.
in a good way. When they start with, I'm just looking, like I said, I think you have to have enough of like a relaxed feeling.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're good at is taking rejection.
Mhm.
So we don't give up, but it's not going to hurt me if it doesn't happen.
Right.
So,
Right.
we can play around a little bit and be like, I get it. Hey, just looking, what do you like to look at? And basically, the minute you can get someone really talking to you as a person and not as a future paycheck,
Yeah.
then it's amazing how all of a sudden everything is just like right there and like, oh yeah, well my lease ends next month. Oh wow. But then we don't even go, oh wow, quick transaction. We're thinking we really need to help you now because if your lease is ending in a month,
You're already behind the eight
we
ball,
are,
right?
yeah, you need me right now, and here's what we're going to do.
For
A, B,
sure.
C, and D. And they're like, you're right.
Yeah.
And kind of piggybacking off what you said a few minutes ago, like think about every major life event. Like I'm thinking even like to the, am I going to marry somebody?
Mhm.
Do you just all of a sudden one day go, will you marry me? Great. No, like you've
Right. Yeah.
thought about it. There's a lot of thinking. There's some sort of planning, whether you just browsing on the website.
Mhm.
I guess if, jewelry stores reached out, it might be the same way.
Right. Right. Right.
So, I think we have to look at people and understand that even though they might say they're just looking, they're thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
And, depending on their situation, that could mean earlier than later. So, we're trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what would you change? What are you looking at?
Mhm.
What's happening in your life? When they say, oh, I'm going to wait 3 years, why? What's happening between now and 3 years? And sometimes what they tell us is legitimate.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna graduate college in 3 years and get a full-time job. Great idea.
Got you.
3
Yeah.
years sounds good. But, well, I don't know.
Mhm.
3 years okay, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how you get them to, like, kinda also most of the time, people are going to say something like that because ultimately they don't know the process.
Exactly. And that's usually whenever I'm prospecting, it is very different prospecting
Mhm.
internet leads as opposed to prospecting your own sphere of
Yeah,
influence and, people that that sort of thing. You have to break down barriers extremely quickly as well as build trust simultaneously. So
right.
you're trying to keep them on the phone, but then be their friend and build trust all at the same time. What have you found to be your biggest asset to doing that?
I think for me, probably being a teacher.
Mhm.
I tell everybody, I used to talk to 23 people and most didn't listen that day,
Ah,
but it was still my job to make sure something
right,
happened. So it's
right.
like you're constantly trying to find a way to connect.
Mhm.
So fortunately, like I said, I've had a lot of life experience. I've lived in a lot of places, have quite a few hobbies, so basically, as I'm listening, anything I can make a connection with them. I remember seeing one time there was a person, their email had something with Yankees.
Mm,
Now,
mhm.
I'll be 100% honest, like, I actually can watch baseball and polo, but
Right.
do I know all the stats? No. But I do know that my entire living room is decorated with Yankees gear and paraphernalia because my husband's a huge fan.
Got you,
So
got you.
immediately upon seeing, I'm like, "Oh, you're a Yankees fan." Yeah, then
Mhm,
they start
mhm.
talking and, like,
Yeah.
that's all it took. Now all of a sudden we're best friends because I'm not a Red Sox fan. So it's like,
Right, right.
and I can have that conversation and it's like once people will talk a little bit about themselves, then at least you have kind of the door open.
Mhm.
So I do think I'm able to make connections pretty good.
For sure.
I'm a good listener in the sense of like I pick up on little details. I also pick up on shifts of tone, so I can kind of adjust mine. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
One of the biggest components of persuasion is listening. You have to listen, identify anything that you can find in common, use that as the hook,
Right.
pull them in, and break the walls down. That is textbook. That is absolutely textbook. So, kind of shifting gears a little bit. So, you've done this work. You've gotten the agent involved.
Mhm.
Excuse me. You got the this lead, if you will, this human being. I
Mhm.
think that's a
Yeah.
differentiating concept there to think about as well. I think ISAs do better when they don't think of them as leads and think of
Yes.
them as people. So that
Right.
if anybody's listening and they're hearing that, hopefully they're hearing that component of
Mhm.
what you guys do. So you got this person to the point where now you've overcome the
Mhm.
objections, you've hooked them in, you're comfortable with you,
Yeah.
and now you have to pass them off to
Yes.
an agent. So what are when you hand someone off, where does the momentum usually die, and how can agents prevent that from happening?
Yeah, so definitely we have our processes here.
Hmm.
One of the things we do is we personally call our partner agent. Once they've accepted the appointment, we kind of fill them in, tell them, X, Y, and Z. I had one yesterday that was like, I said, "Oh, we'll meet here at the office. There's candy and soda," and
Hmm.
she said, "Lemon pound cake," and I was like, "Might can make that happen." And so I certainly did tell that agent she likes
She
lemon
likes
pound
lemon
cake.
pound cake, yes.
Like, those are little details that really can help.
Right.
And so I'm gonna share that information. Then after that, we're gonna kinda go through all the logistics, everything they wanna know, why, price point, stuff like that. We've collected all of that. And then we're gonna send out a group text message. And I think the point where the shift can happen, so
Mhm,
what makes or breaks this for an agent
mhm, mhm.
is the phone call.
Mm. How so?
Well, so for instance, if I say it's a buyer's consult, right?
Mhm.
Even as ISAs, we've had to like work through that ourselves because we do have access to these answers. We can answer,
Right.
we are not just secretaries. So we do understand. And there's a certain point where we actually have to stop and be like, I'm going to make sure that my partner agent helps.
Mm.
Because if I provide the buyer's consult over the phone, you're not
There's
getting
no need to meet.
this person
Right.
and they're not guaranteed to come back to us. So, if it's a buyer's consult, a lot of times it can the make or break is having that consult on the phone. Because
Mm.
if you've just
Mhm.
done the consult on the phone, why did they need to get out of bed tomorrow, put on some
Don't
decent
have to.
clothes to come
Right.
meet you? There's no need for you anymore. You have really eliminated their need for you.
And they've asked the questions and they don't even know all of the questions
They
to ask.
don't
They just
exactly.
have a certain number of questions that's in their head that they probably
Mhm.
either,
Yep.
chat
This is what
GPT'd
I
or
think I need to know.
Googled. Exactly. Whereas if you actually sit down and meet them eye to eye, face to
100%.
face, that is where the relationship is built.
100%. So, yeah, you're exactly right. They don't most of the time, especially if you're looking at a new home buyer, they literally don't know the questions they need to ask. I think any of us who were first time home buyer, you did know. So,
Right, right.
I didn't know till I got into real estate. So,
Mhm,
um, basically, and fortunately, kind of around the office, we have these great little like guides, like, hey, just call real quick, confirm. Yep, I can't wait to meet you. Da da da. Actually, one thing too that uh, kind of shifting a little bit, I want to encourage my partner agent if it's a showing, send that quick text, "Hey, I can't wait. I'm going to call you in a few minutes." But before you actually call, go book the showing. You may get in there and realize that Tuesday at 3 o'clock was taken, but now you have other days and times at your availability
mhm.
that you can say, "Hey, it is not available at 3, but it's available at this time or this day," or whatever. So you already have the game plan if it goes south. The other thing that tends to happen is if we don't book until after the phone call, and what if that house just went under contract?
Mm,
Now it's too easy to say,
mhm,
"Hey,
mhm.
yeah, I know we said we were going to meet, but actually it's not available. Was there another house you want to see?" Well, the minute you ask that, again, what value do I have if I'm not bringing the house to
Dead in
you?
the water, dead in the water.
So if you go and the house is under contract, not available, you find out something, whatever, go find a similar house that's available to be seen at the time they agreed to. And that way, when you call them, you say, "Hey, guess what? That house, we're under contract. Don't you worry. There's another house just like it,
Mhm.
actually a little bit less expensive, whatever, and
Mhm.
we can see it tomorrow at 3 o'clock."
Yes. Do you recommend they do that even if there's no other property is
Absolutely.
even if that property doesn't go under contract
Yeah,
or even
because
if
we
that
all know
time is
what
available?
happens between now and Tuesday.
Life,
Contracts
anything.
get written. Just because
Right.
it's available
Yeah.
today does not mean it's still there Tuesday. And what's
Absolutely.
worse is they're excited, they're excited, they're excited, and then Monday night you go, "Oh, sorry.
So
All
sorry.
right, well, just let
Mhm.
me know when you see it." They're never gonna let you know.
Yeah. I usually have
That
a
that to me is
general.
like the deadline. When the
Yes.
agent
Yes.
says, "Let me know what else you wanna see," you have lost them,
Yeah. You love
and
you.
my heart is breaking.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And from a, kind of a leadership
Mhm.
standpoint, my heart is breaking as well because it's like once you've done that, once you've said that, once you've gotten to that point, you're no longer adding value.
Mhm.
Like your basically all of the leverage that you had to meet this person is gone out the window, and essentially now they're. I used to I try to explain it like this: if as an agent whose job is to call and to prospect and to talk to
Yeah.
people, then flips that responsibility onto essentially a civilian, if you will, to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want you to do the calling and the prospecting when you're ready." Like that's not going to happen. Like
Exactly.
that's just not going to happen. We wouldn't need an ISA team
Mhm.
if if people were everybody was like,
Yeah.
I love making phone calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so, so as an agent telling a client like, hey, or this person on the other end that doesn't
Yeah.
know you, any of that, like, why would they? Why would they?
Yeah, because at
So,
the end of the day, it's so much easier for them to go press inquire on
exactly.
some other thing, and I just show up. I
Um,
think also when you do that,
mhm.
again, you're saying to that person, "Well, I was hoping to sell you that house, now it's not
Yes,
available."
exactly.
So, I think then you cast more of a "you're a paycheck"
Exactly.
versus,
Exactly.
"Oh,
Exactly.
no, that's not him, but don't you worry, I got you."
Right. 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 Yeah. So I tell folks like, listen, have multiple houses lined up always, no matter what the situation
Mhm,
is. If you're going, if an ISA sets an appointment for a showing, you should have multiple houses. Never lead the conversation, the
mhm,
next phone call with bad news, like, oh, so sorry. It's like, hey, Johnny, I know
mhm.
we're going to see, you know, 125 Main
Yeah,
Street, which was the second property, at 4 o'clock, and we're going to see 789 Main Street at right after that. Unfortunately, 123 Main Street was not available,
mhm,
but these other two, I think they're going to fit right
mhm.
in that criteria of what you were looking for.
Yeah,
Can't wait to meet you. And then you sandwich the bad news in there with that good news,
mhm.
and folks are like, well, okay, all right. And you're leading the
Yes.
conversation. And a lot of times agents, they have the mindset that, and I've seen this happen, and I'll say it so you don't have to say
Mhm.
it and seem like the bad guy, but they're like, well, they set up an appointment where the house was under contract or the house went under contract and da da da. Da. It's like, why are you blaming the
I
ISA for
know.
that? This is you have a lead, someone that is wants to buy a house
Yeah,
that you can talk to, that
100%.
you can go and meet, that you can introduce yourself to, that you can build a
Yes.
relationship with. If 80% of the time, and it's probably being higher,
Yeah.
they're not even going to buy
I was
that
going to
first
say,
house
they're not gonna buy the first one.
anyway. They're not even going to buy that house. That
Yeah,
that house is irrelevant. That I mean,
yeah, and even
it's
if they
it's it's
bought the first
relevant.
house, were you really doing them any justice if you didn't show them any more? So guess
Exactly.
what? You have to show them more anyway,
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
like,
So.
it's just in your best interest, and also I think for us, it's like, especially a long time nurture for an ISA.
Hmm.
Where we have been there answering questions, giving, "Oh, yeah, it did go on a contract, but look at this one," because that's what we're doing. Like I said,
Right.
we may not be out showing homes, but we're acting just like you
Hmm.
from the inside, saying, "Nope, that one's not, but we got this one. All right, I've tweaked this, done this." If that happens,
Hmm.
part of the heartbreak is I have built my partners up to being willing to give the same level of service that I have given. And so it's very disheartening,
Hmm.
um, if that occurs, because it's like they have gotten to you most of the time because they have felt very supported and they trust us. And I have now said, hey, this person's going to go show you homes. How, da, da. And so when that happens, it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
hmm And it's interesting because trust takes time to be built, but the losing trust,
is seconds.
matter of seconds,
Absolutely.
matter of seconds.
Yep.
And sometimes you get it back, sometimes you don't, and it is a really tough spot. So the phone call is extremely important.
Yeah.
Agents, we have the process like confirm,
Hmm.
you know,
Connect.
connect with them.
Yeah.
The I,
Um,
I
hmm.
don't remember the
But
I.
basically, it's like offer some sort of insight. I
Insight.
got it
There we
from
go.
me. And
Insight. And
yeah,
then there's the N,
which is you
CCIN,
need to meet
M,
them.
actually. So
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah. We were
Yeah.
close.
Book
Yeah.
to book. Yeah. Phonetically, it was almost
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Yeah. So CCIM,
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
No, confirm, connect,
Mhm.
insight, and meet with the person.
And
Like
it's
that
a
is the,
quick call.
it's a
And you
discovery
need it to
call.
be a quick call because every minute you stay on the phone, you are coming less likely to meet them
Mhm.
because they're going to get their question. They're like, well, hold on, what about that? And then it's like, oh, I'm here. No, like,
Mhm.
hey, David, it's Evelyn. I am looking forward to showing you this house tomorrow. I heard that you have a dog. I have one too, real quick. And yeah, that neighborhood has got quite a few homes to sell. And let's meet tomorrow. Like, it's a
Absolutely.
quick
Absolutely.
call
Yes. I
and
usually
just
try
get
to,
in there.
if I am in that situation where if it's, and another thing I recommend, see the beauty of follow-up balls, we can hear your phone
I
call.
know.
So you can hear that phone call. So the agent, we tell our agents like, listen, speed to lead is definitely a thing. So we want you to call them within 5 minutes. Like
Mm-hmm.
give them a text or a
Yeah.
call within that first 5 minutes. So in that meantime, you can listen to the phone call,
Mm-hmm.
and Follow Boss does this amazing thing where it'll transcribe
Yep.
the entire conversation. So you can read through there and find out what they want, get a gist. I like to listen to people's
Mm-hmm.
tone
Mm-hmm.
and kind of hear. So they help me with like where are they on the disc? If
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a person that's, they want to
Which
get to
is
the
so
point,
important.
very important. Very, very
Mhm.
important. So I'm listening to all of that. And then going through the properties, looking
Yep.
finding some other properties, getting that all taken care of. Short time frame. Then I'm calling them back,
Yeah.
and then we'll say, "Hey, I'm about to go into a meeting, but I wanted to call you real quick." So
Yep.
I preface it with, "I don't have a lot of time." Now
Yeah.
that meeting could be, I'm going to walk my dog.
Right. They don't
They
know what
don't need to know what
about.
that is. They just need to know that
Me
I
and
can't.
Scruffy have a date.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to bring you all the information you
Yeah.
need when we meet.
Yeah.
Right here, I just want to introduce myself, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
try to tell, let agents know that.
I think
But
also in there you just hey, if you see something else or a quick question pops up, text it over to me
mhm,
and I will come prepared. And then
that's
that way you don't feel like you're cutting
kind
them
of rushing them
short.
up. Yep,
You're giving them the
that's good.
opportunity to still share with you
hmm
and
hmm
communicate, but avoiding not meeting.
Trying to exactly is and I think the temptation for agents, especially it's interesting. I don't know how at other brokerages how it works, but we tend to um, attract agents who want to help people.
Mhm.
Probably because in our like slogan it says "serve people, sell real estate."
Right, yeah.
So that's probably why. But the temptation is to really help, like to overshare and to really give, and you have to quench that temptation because
So you don't
you're
ruin
doing
your own
yourself a
business.
yes, you're shooting yourself in the foot
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
So you want to get in front of them so you can they can feel the energy, they can feel
Yeah.
that you care for them, you can look them in the eyes, and you can
Mhm.
kind of establish that trust there. And once you I think the number is what 80, 70, 80% or something like that. People go with the first agent
They
that
do.
they
I think it's
that they
like
meet with.
80, a
So,
lot.
but yes,
Yeah, and I think ultimately you have to keep in mind that nobody's buying a house without a real estate agent. So
hmm
you're not just gonna go online, pick a house, and Amazon it.
right, right, right.
They need a person with them,
hmm hmm
and if you're not meeting them, someone else is going to meet them,
Somebody else has needed them.
and
Somebody else.
that is ultimately the biggest heartbreak is if
Mhm.
I call and find out, "Oh, wait, now you have a new agent."
Yeah, that is tough.
Because
That is tough.
it literally was if you wanna look at it in terms of money, that was money you just literally gave away.
Just burnt it.
Yep, because
Yeah.
now hopefully as an ISA, I got them excited about buying. Maybe they were just looking, but now they're literally like, "Oh, wait a minute, I can buy a house, and wait,
Yeah.
I can do this and that." Oh,
Mhm.
they're gonna find somebody.
And they find somebody. And
If I'm
that
lucky,
yes.
they'll come back to
Call
me,
back. Yeah. So yeah.
but, that's,
Yeah.
hard. So, yeah, they're gonna buy with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's very hard to swallow. That's a
It
very hard
is.
pill to swallow. It's like, I've done this work, you teed it up, everything was
It's
good,
hard.
and then
Yeah.
someone else does something that is not
Mhm.
the protocol. It's one thing to go through the protocol, you do all the things right,
Yeah.
and then they well, actually, I had somebody that I was
Yep, and
working
it
with.
does
It's
happen.
like, well, that
But
stinks. There's nobody,
mhm,
not a whole lot anybody on our side can do about
yeah.
that. But it's when like, hey, you're supposed to call them in 5 minutes. It's been 2 hours,
Mhm.
and there's been no text response. There's been no call. There's been nothing.
Yeah.
And now when I reach back out, they've already seen the property
Yeah.
and they are putting in a contract, and it's kind of crazy like that.
Well,
So,
and to kinda give you some numbers, like, so far, it's what, July 14th?
mhm,
I've already for myself and probably a little behind this month because 'cause I've been
mhm,
helping to train,
for sure.
but, I've set 24
Mhm,
appointments.
awesome.
Now, 19 of those appointments, that appointment date's already come and gone,
Mhm, mhm.
and, is it 19? No, maybe not, maybe less, but I'm at 14 have met,
Wow. Wow.
and they are valid.
Yes, valid
So,
appointments.
they met, they don't have another agent
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
they are serious buyers and sellers,
Mhm, mhm.
and,
Yeah,
like,
oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
that's a future, hopefully, closing.
That's right. So now that you've mentioned some of the numbers, how many you said so this month, and this is just for ref context,
Mhm.
the 14th of the
Yeah.
month.
Mhm.
You by yourself have booked 20, what did you say, 24?
24. Mhm.
24, 14 of those have met
Mhm. Mhm.
and already working with agents, meeting
Yeah,
with agents, that sort
mhm.
of thing. Year to date, like
Mhm.
we know last year you had 60 closings.
Yep.
So year to date, you've had how many appointments?
So, year to date, I've set 299 appointments.
299 appointments.
203 have met,
So
which is
phenomenal met
almost
rate.
at 70%
Yeah.
conversion as far as just set to met.
Hmm.
I, as of last week, have had 23 closings,
23
and I
closings.
have 10 more under contract.
Uh-huh. And the total
So,
volume so far was what?
8.2 million.
8.2 million in volume. Now,
Yeah.
as agents are thinking about, how can I scale my business?
Mhm.
How do those numbers, help an agent understand
Yeah.
how what you just described,
Yeah.
just you as one
It's just
ISA,
me. Yeah, that's
yes. How does that help an agent to scale their business?
yeah, absolutely. So, if you already have your pipeline, people you're
Hmm.
working, personal, friends, family, your whole sphere. Um, the best part about being with lead services is
Hmm.
that we're kind of available for you throughout.
Right,
Like
right,
you
right.
can take I won't say as many, but you can take appointments, every week. But like if you're busy doing your thing, but you need another showing or two and it works with your schedule, whenever it goes out, you're gonna know exactly what they are, where they're
Hmm.
looking, and the day and time for the appointment. If that fits in your schedule, that's another person you picked up without having to do all the legwork to start with.
Right, right.
It truly is me saying, "Okay, here we go, and here's LP Mama, all the stuff."
Yeah.
Um, we've almost always, unless it was just a quick thing we forgot, but we'll go back. We've already set up a search for them. We've
Hmm.
already provided a seller report for them. So we have taken a lot off your plate that would usually, you know, take a lot of time and energy for you to do that. And I think one of the exciting thing is we had a lead agent come in. You would know who I'm talking about. I think her second week here, that once she was able to take leads,
Hmm.
not only has she had several appointments, but by her second week, she had a contract.
Mm,
Like imagine being
that's
brand
lovely.
new,
Right, right.
brand new. You've gone through training, you've got the license, you're just getting out there, and we do have those appointments that come through, and they really
Mhm.
are ready
They're ready.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, um, but also know that even if they're not ready tomorrow, they are going to
Yes. Yeah.
provide.
Is what is And I think that's the beauty of, and you laid it out brilliantly. If you want to scale, obviously the best way to do that is having your
Mhm.
pipeline full.
Yeah.
And if you can duplicate that process, obviously you're out prospecting and you're
Mhm.
doing it on your own. But if you can have another skilled person who literally this is what they do
Mhm.
also with you, then you're doubling your
Yeah.
efforts. You're basically increasing the amount of leads that you're going to get, the amount of closings that you're going to have, the amount of money that you're going to
Yeah.
make. Do that over a course of 2 to 3 years. Those ones that you're closing now,
Yes.
3, 4 years later, they want to sell their property. Or if you do a wonderful job, white glove experience. I'm glad you
Mhm.
mentioned that earlier about how you have basically you're giving them white glove experience up
Mhm.
until the handoff.
Yeah.
The agent continues that. They get into
Yes.
the closing table. Now they're going to also refer. So now you have yourself, you have the ISA,
Mhm.
and you're getting referrals from your pipeline. So
Right.
it's like you are literally scaling your business,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do it forever.
Yeah.
3, 4
And even
years.
once we give you that person, we don't disappear.
Exactly.
I'd say the top producers in this company, most of them are lead agents.
Hmm.
And I will say they are excellent models of an agent working with an ISA team
Hmm.
because they take what we've done and they continue,
Hmm.
but they also involve us, like, if for some reason they can't get hold of that person, I already had a great relationship, they'll say, "Will you reach out and just see what's going on?"
Right.
And most of 'em it's nothing, it's just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're too busy," but at least
Yeah.
we know together
Exactly.
we've come,
Yes.
so I think that's an important part too, is, like, once we hand it off, it's not like we're
See you
like,
later. Call me when they
"Phew,
close.
yeah, let me know," like,
Right.
that's not it at all.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah. Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
stay involved, um but on kind of the back seat, like
Right.
side, but
Right.
we will check in occasionally. But yeah, like
Yeah.
continue to use us to help you sell more houses.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so
So you kind of mentioned a little bit. Can you don't have to name names, but is there an agent who kind of really benefited from, like you mentioned, one agent who was just starting off
yeah.
and then within 2 weeks they got a closing? Are there any agents that now are, you mentioned top producers,
Hmm.
but kind of take us back to when they were just kind of starting out
Yeah.
and what that relationship was like with the ISA team
Hmm.
and with that agent, and kind of some of the success that they
Hmm.
saw out the gate and how that led
Yeah.
to being a top
Absolutely.
producer now.
There's a very clear distinction that we see with agents coming in.
Mm,
Okay. We, again, we're people all the time, like, we're talking to people all the time. We have a
mhm,
fun office, like, we keep it light, but one of the things that we tell every new agent, whether you're brand new or new to Keaton& and Company, and especially lead services, we invite, everyone to come in. Come in, ask us questions, listen to how we're making phone calls, and that's not just for the people who are like, "Ooh, I'm a little timid on the phone, I don't know
mhm.
what to say."
Right.
The more you know about what we do,
Mhm.
the better it's gonna help you.
And I'll add the caveat
Mhm,
here. These guys are making appointments. So you're coming and you're listening,
mhm.
not distracting from their work.
But
You're
if you have
listening,
a
that
question,
sort of thing.
by all means, like I said, I'm gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
always be a teacher at heart. So I ask
Right.
me, I will show you, and you can listen in. But absolutely, you're coming in, you're listening, you are finding out what our role is. You are personally witnessing it, so you're able to
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
kind of speak to the value that we do provide. So I'd say that's one of the first things we notice is they are coming in and listening or asking questions, making themselves known, and then they're continuing to go from there. I think the next thing I've seen with people becoming kind of like really top producers, not only have they gotten to know us and trust us, because I do understand there's a level of trust, like
For sure.
to trust someone that this is going to be a good lead.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Nobody's 100%
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes people say all the right things on the phone. But, take the leads.
Mm,
Understand that the people who are those top producers did not start off with every house being, 300,000, they didn't.
mhm,
So, one of my favorite, stories is, I I had $100,000 listing, so we could put it as an opportunity. Um, the agent that took it, I was like, "Oh, thank you, oh, this is a good one,"
Yeah.
They didn't look at it as a paycheck. They're okay, yeah, and if they did, they were like, "Money's money." Like,
Right.
"Hey, and nothing wrong with that."
Yeah.
What they found out was it was one of 4 properties they
Mm.
wanted.
Mhm.
So the 100,000, "Is it worth my time?" became
Mm.
400,000 plus,
Mm.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I've had another one where people, it was just a person looking at a very low price point lot.
Mm. Mhm.
And the first person kinda taking that went, It's not worth my time," didn't
Right.
do it, got him reconnected in that actual meeting, walking the lot that we already knew was not a lot to buy.
Right. Right.
He had a $650,000 budget for the lot and his future home.
Mm.
So, be very
Yeah,
careful of kind
for
of, like,
sure.
judging a book by its cover,
Right. Right, right.
like the
Yeah,
old white like, approach everybody as a person,
exactly.
and everybody's gonna need help.
Yeah, yeah. You never know that, I think that the opportunity is the key word there, like, it's, you know, would you be able to do this without the support? If the answer is yes, and you can do it at a high level, by all means, lead
Mhm.
services is not for you.
Yeah.
If the answer is, "Mm, take on
Yeah.
lead services," why not?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
not?
here we just have so many leads coming in.
Absolutely.
I have told everybody I know.
Mhm.
I can't imagine being a brand new agent and having to go like, no wonder there's people who just it's hard,
Yeah.
because you can only ask so many friends. And,
Right, right, right.
but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
literally here, it's like all the people you don't know who are asking,
For sure.
they're asking here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think those are all of the questions. We might be at time. And so are there any parting words that you have for an agent who is maybe thinking about, should I take advantage of lead services, or should I try to continue to stick it out on my own, pay for leads through, third party service, continue that sort of thing? Like what is your
Yeah, again, I mean, I guess if you're fulfilled and you're happy where you are, then that's an easy answer. But
Mhm.
I think if you feel like you have the capacity to do more or earn more or, help more people, at least come and meet us and talk to us and see actual numbers.
Mhm.
And like I said,
Mhm.
I'm only one small part of the team.
Yes.
So any numbers I've given to you are just mine.
That's a
You
fraction of
know,
what we're doing.
all the rest of my team are doing the same thing,
Yeah.
um, and are willing to help in the same way. So that's a lot of closings and appointments like that we're a part of. And yeah, nothing else. Come talk to us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there's the invitation.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Now go make some more phone calls.
I know.
Go
Gotta
book some
go
more
make some
appointments.
appointments now.
I do too.
I
So
know. So look, only way you're gonna get it is by getting on the phone.
that's right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So
So yeah.
so yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Evelyn. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you.